Okay, hi. Today I'm just going to walk through about the synopsis and all. So, because of some unavailability, I cannot be present in physical existence there. So, what I'll be explaining you some basics requirement on the project synopsis. So, you can go through each and every time and come back to me if you have any questions. Okay. So, before getting into the project specific explanation, there are few things that you need to know about the project flow. Okay, like all the projects here in our institute will be IEEE 2014 projects. I mean the latest implementation here. Okay, the flow will be like we will be choosing a particular problem in some particular domain. The first thing is we'll be coming up with the paper solution, what we call it as a theoretical solution, and then we are going to convert that paper solution into a language implementation. It could be any language, it could be Java, C, C#, MATLAB, it could be any language. Okay. Here the flow will be like the problem will be decided by the author, the IEEE author. In that paper itself we'll be getting to know what problem we are supposed to solve, and also how to solve the problem also will be given by the same author, the theoretical solution. Our only effort will be converting that paper solution into the language solution. I can say advantage of this approach is it will be like 100% safe, meaning nobody will come back to you and say why you have done the solution in this way, why not in the other way, change it like this, change it like this. All this comments and all cannot be expected here, because whatever you have implemented will be an approved solution, meaning the verified solution. Okay, and I can say that you people will be given weightage at least in terms of marks, because all the projects here you are implementing from the scratch. Okay, it's not a kind of repeated one or a reused one kind of thing. Okay. Hi, today I am going to explain you the functional requirement and the functional aspect of this project JSON. Okay, so what I'm trying to say today is just giving you an eye level overview of what this project does. Okay, what will be the input output, basically entire functional aspect of this project. Okay, but to understand this project completely in detail, there are a lot of prerequisites which we are going to cover it in the project classes. But as of now, to speak with your coordinates and get this project locked and agreed from them. Okay, so explain whatever you're going to see in this video now, and then definitely they will come back with some questions like tell me more about algorithm, tell me input output, or explain this in detail, something like that. Okay, no problem, whatever questions they are going to ask you, but clearly and politely tell them that you are still exploring more about this project and you don't know anything about it as of now. Okay, so just take a date time and come back to us with all those questions. You can either send an email to me, or you can feel free to call me anytime. Okay, so if you want the answer right away, you can call me, or if you want the answer in a written format, you can email me. Anything is fine. Okay, fine. So let's get started now. So before I take you to the functional details of the project, so these are the kind of quick facts you people should be ready. Okay, the meaning of quick facts is at any point of time, any lecturer or any externs could all of a sudden might ask you these many questions. Okay, so you should be ready for these answers at any instance of time. Okay, so to start off with, the domain of this project, right, we call it as reconfigurable and communication system. Okay, so I'm going to focus more on reconfigurable and communication centric system. Okay, so there are two terms that you need to worry about here: reconfigurable and communication. Okay, so what actually this domain means is, reusing some of the things. Okay, so like avoiding the duplicates, and if there is a solution for one particular problem already, so how can you use the same solution across all the other problems? Okay, so I'm going to take you people to that concept at later point of time during the functional requirement explanation. But now, so let us proceed further. The base reference of this project will be IEEE 2014, the latest implementation of it. Okay, so we got the idea from an IEEE author. Okay, so the algorithm which we are going to use in our project will be a design pattern. Okay, so you would have heard about a design pattern called MVC. Okay, so we are going to focus more on MVC design pattern in this project, model view controller design pattern. Okay, so the framework we will be using in our project will be a Spring framework. Okay, this is a new technology which we need to learn. There is a framework called Spring, and specifically we are going to use Spring MVC framework. Okay, I'll take you people into what is Spring and all in the project classes, but this is something you need to have an eye upon, because the knowledge on Spring will be, you won't be having the knowledge on Spring until and unless you have worked for an industry for a couple of years. Okay, so that is what something you are trying to do in your project as well. So that adds on to your interview. Okay, so the platform which our project can be executed will be a JBoss application server. Okay, you need a JBoss platform to run our project, and it could be installed in any operating system like Linux operating system. And anyway, this will not be a constraint for us, because if you are not comfortable in Linux, we can switch on to Windows, any version of Windows like that. Okay, and the number of lines of code what we are going to write is interesting. So more than 4,500 plus lines of code. Okay, so because we need that end-to-end solution to be implemented here, which can be readily used at later point of time. Okay, so but in a contrast to which, on average VTU student will be writing around 800 to 1000 lines of code. Okay, not more than that, not even more than 800 or something, less to 1000. Okay, so what actually you are going to do here is you are implementing 4x of what VTU is asking for you to do so. Okay, and the percentage of database what you are going to use will be, in fact you don't need any database at all here, but for just for storing some registration information like login and logout information, so I can say that we are using 2% of database. Okay, very lesser percentage of database. Okay, and coming to the detailed breakup of the technology, we are going to have some technology in the front end, the client end, and we'll be having some technology in the back end, the server end. So like the front end technology we are going to implement will be, you know, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, XML, and we'll focus more on a new framework called jQuery, Ajax and Dojo. Okay, so and we'll be using a wonderful framework called Twitter Bootstrap, and this is used for creating a attractive front-end websites. Okay, because the externals or any customers will be using the frameworks, right? I mean, they will be using the interface what we have provided, and the interface what we have provided should be very attractive so that they will be impressed at first sight. Okay, so in the backend technology what we are going to implement here will be Java, J2EE, which compromises of JSP, servlets and JDBC. Okay, so apart from this we will be requiring some, you know, JBoss application server knowledge, and we also require some Tomcat. Okay, and we'll be requiring as MySQL server to store this 2% of database. Okay, and apart from this, the core part is we are going to implement a Spring framework. Okay, we'll be using the Spring framework for implementing this entire project. Okay, so fine. So now let's get into this project details, like what this project does, all about that and on. So look here. So to understand what actually we are trying to do, you need to have a small prerequisite here. Okay, so the prerequisite you need to understand here is the working of a server-side environment. Okay, you people know what a server-side environment, right? So there will be a browser, there will be a server. Okay, the browser will be sending a request, server will be sending the response like that. Okay, but let us go in detail about that. What actually is happening in the server end? All we know at this point of time is browser is sending something and it is getting something. But what is happening inside the server? Let me take you people through it. Okay, so assume that you are going to enter your ID password to the Google login page, and it's going to send your request to the Google server. Okay, there will be someone within the Google server who receives your request. Okay, and it is going to pass that request to somebody who makes a database connection, okay, to check if your ID password is correct or not. And this somebody will pass the result to one more person who renders the result back to the screen. Okay, so this is what been happening in the server end. Okay, so basically there will be three entities within the server, one completely responsible for handling the client request and processing it by passing it into the business logic. The one more person will be responsible for implementing the business logic using database connection or anything else. Okay, and this person will be responsible for displaying the result back to end user. Okay, so we call this entity which is responsible for receiving the client request and forwarding it to the business logic, right? We call it as C component. Okay, controller component. And this entity who is responsible for implementing the business logic, we call it as M component, model component. And this person who is giving back the response back to the client, we call it as C component. So that's how the coordination, sorry, we call it as V. So that's how the coordination of MVC component works. Okay, so having said that, this prerequisite is been understood to you all. So let me tell you the problem what these people are currently facing. The problem what currently we people are facing, you know, we have written a model component. Assume we have written a controller component. Assume we have written a view component. Okay, for implementing a server-side application called vtu.com. Okay, for implementing this server-side application, so we have written M component, C component and V component in Java. What if tomorrow VTU people come back to you and ask that you need to do the same implementation for Android phones? So what are you going to do there? You know, you will be writing another M component, another C component and another V component written in Android. Okay, so this is for Android devices. Okay, so whereas this is for our desktop environment. Okay, what if tomorrow VTU comes back and asks you to develop the same thing for Apple mobiles? Okay, you are going to write another M component, another C component and another V component written in iOS. Okay, this is for Apple mobiles, Apple devices like, you know, iPads or anything else. Okay, so the problem here is the business logic is same, the core functionality is same, but you have written a different MC and V and MC and V and MC and V components for each of these devices. Okay, you are actually duplicating the things. Okay, so to remove these duplicates, right, so the author has come up with a wonderful approach called JSON. Okay, so he suggests us to use this JSON technology for, you know, overcoming this problem. Okay, so you don't need to worry about what actually a JSON is at this point of time, but just be assured that JSON is just a data format. Okay, it's the way in which we represent the data. Okay, so using JSON we are going to eliminate the dependency between V and C component. Okay, so like we are completely eliminating the dependency between V and C component. Okay, it will be like you have written M component and C component separately. Okay, and V component will be independent of these two things. We will be independent of these two things. So the advantage what you are going to get is these two things will be written in any language in once. Okay, but it will be having a separate V component for desktops. Okay, it will be having separate V component for Android mobiles and separate V component for iOS devices. Okay, but all of them will be interacting with the same M and C components written only once. Okay, how we can actually achieve this? We can achieve this using the technology called JSON. Okay, because no matter what device you are implementing it and which language you are implementing it, everyone will be understanding JSON. Okay, so this is just a, you know, explanation about what JSON is and how it is used and all. Okay, but what actually we are implementing in our project, you know, there's something very interesting where, you know, none of them would have done it earlier. So what we are going to do, you know, you would be aware of an application called Flipkart.com. Okay, and it's a well-known retailer where online you can purchase n number of things. Okay, so there is something called Flipkart affiliate program. Okay, there is something called Flipkart affiliate program. Okay, so that Flipkart affiliate program is exposing a JSON data to us. Okay, it's exposing a JSON data. What actually this JSON data will containing, you know, from the Flipkart component, they expose us all the Flipkart products as a JSON data. Okay, what's the advantage of that? So Flipkart products exposed using JSON data can be understood by anybody else, right? Okay, so we are implementing a project, okay, which consumes the JSON data. Okay, so our project is going to consume Flipkart's products as JSON data, and it's going to showcase the Flipkart products in my projects. Okay, it's going to showcase the Flipkart products in my project. Okay, the advantage of showcasing or advertising Flipkart products in our project is what, you know, I may have a specific customer who daily visits my site. Okay, so I am advertising the Flipkart products on my site for him. Okay, he might purchase the Flipkart product in my site. Okay, the advantage what we are going to get by implementing this is, if a person purchases any products which I advertised, say for example of cost 100 rupees, Flipkart is going to provide us 5 rupees commission. Okay, So Flipkart is going to provide us generally 5% commission for any products that have been sold through this affiliate program. Okay, so you are creating a reconfigurable system over there. Okay, so all you need to do is you need to register an affiliate as an affiliate in Flipkart, then log into my project, start attracting the customers, and you can start earning the money right away. Okay, so this is one part what we are trying to do. Okay, so we are consuming the JSON data and we are implementing our own user interface, right? The second part is we are going to produce our own JSON data. We are going to produce our own JSON data. The reason why we are producing our own JSON data is, okay, to implement the same thing in mobiles, to implement it in mobile phones, so that it will be easier. End users can access it in any devices. Okay. So fine guys, so at this point of time, I think this is more than enough. So just speak to your coordinators about the same thing. So get back to us if you have any questions. Okay, thank you so much.